Taco, today we're going to talk about, just from the introduction, about electrical cars quickly, because what is going on with the electrical cars? They are not so happy, I think, by this Friday, because the European Union has decided these Chinese electrical cars, they will not receive, or they will be actually subject to higher import tariffs or import taxes than what we're used to. So the standard import tariff is 10%, and the European Union has said that, for instance, BYD and Geely and SAYC, they will be subject to a import tariff of not less than 38.1%, and those tariffs are on top of the already existing 10%. So that is not a positive thing for the electrical car market. Another, might be more positive thing is that the lithium price is going down heavily, so that's good. So because they need, of course, lithium for the batteries. Lithium price is going down from 200,000 C1Y to almost 91 CNY. So you see that the price, that's per ton, is that the price has almost gone down with almost 100%, no, 60%. So that's it, right? 60%, yeah. So that means that there's a lot of things happening, and some companies are really suffering from that. And we're going to talk about you today about 3 of those companies.
Yes.
Taco, you're going to kick off with BASF.
BASF, yes. They actually acted based on this information that the electrical vehicle market is slowing down due to all these kind of developments, and they decided to cancel a project in a lithium mining project in Chile. And that is quite an announcement, because if you're planning to do that, and it was a joint effort with Wealth Minerals, a Vancouver-based company, and they decided without a lot of explanations to stop the negotiations. So that's really a step to say, I cancel this project. I don't know how much they spent before, but they decided to do so this week. The price of the stock, the share, was actually not that much affected by it. It went up a little bit, but that was also in a higher market in general, so I'm not sure if that's related to this news. BASF, I think everyone knows it. If you are investing for a long time and you hold ETFs, I think indirectly you have been investing in it. It's the biggest chemical company in the world. Founded in 1865, in Germany founded. Now it's based in Ludwigshafen. And the name actually means BASF, Baden Aniline and Soda Factory. So it has quite some history. What I do like about the company, next to the figures, but that 70% of their business they are in the top 3 in the world in that sector. So if they are doing something, they spend money and time and efforts in that, then they are doing it very well. Yeah, exactly. So a big company. It's also in the Euro Stoxx 50. That's why I said if you are investing in an ETF, then indirectly you are actually investing in BASF normally. Market cap of more than 40 billion, so not a small company. And their clients, pharmaceutical, textile, construction, but also, as we said today, in the automotive industries. 75% of the investors in BASF, they are institutional investors, amongst others BlackRock with a 5% share, and 36% of all the investors are based in Germany. Like I said, the price was not that much affected recently this week, actually up, but the share price itself, it has fallen. It was trading around 70 not too long ago, and now it's like 45. It was also around 40. So it's in the lower range. I don't know exactly why, but of course you could say that they have now a 7.5% dividend percentage. So that is quite high, even though the earnings per share have dropped. So it seems that they have a very strict dividend policy, I suppose also to keep the investors happy. But on the other hand, if the company is not going well, you see that the stock price is falling down. So in the end, it's like punished for that anyhow. But still, based on this dividend policy and the price trading low in a lower range, could be interesting. The analysts, they are not completely convinced. I have here 9 buy ratings and 7 hold. So that's not normally, it's not like everyone says you have to buy it at this point.
What's the consensus?
It's overweight.
Overweight.
So it's not really a very important moment now to say, okay, but on the other hand,
you could give it more weight in your portfolio.
I think so, yeah.
Say,
also, the earnings per share, they have fallen down, as I said before, but the expectation is that it will recover. So, it's a big company. I think it's also not that much affected by the subject of today. They are doing a lot more things. But they were in the news this week, and I think it's maybe even a good sign that they cancel such a product if what we say today, like there are restrictions, the price, the demand might be lower. So, an interesting company, I think, to consider.
Yeah, it's I think one of those solid companies that is not like the typical Nvidia, but a lot of the companies in the world are using products or part of their products, not specifically automobile sector. Two companies I want to highlight today is AMG and Albemarte. AMG is a company with a listing on the Dutch stock market. This stands for Advanced Metallurgical Group, and they're one of the largest producers of tantalum ore. So that's very specific metals actually for very specific purposes. So, for instance, part of engines. Also, they are making specific grease for airplane engines. So it's they have a very specific way of the products that they're producing. It's not just the typical like ArcelorMittal that just built iron ore bars and stuff. So they have a very specific purpose for what they produce. The company is founded actually already in 1870 by a German company called Graphit Kropfmühl, and later that was completely integrated. We're not talking about almost a century later. It was in 2008. And also in 1997, they had a very important capital injection of an American investment fund. That was the Safeguard Fund, and they founded the company SIF, and SIF had a listing on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange. AMG is really suffering from the lower lithium prices, because obviously if you take something out of the ground and you have to sell it for a lower price, that affects your direct turnover, but also your profits, of course. Company at this moment trading at about 16 euros. Beginning of the year was about 25, and you can really clearly see that in the ratings. So you're talking about the ratings, it has a buy advice. But you see that the average target price has been amended from 55 to almost where we are 30 at the moment. So the analysts expect that the target price should not be 55 but 30. Still a buy advice, and at the moment you can buy it, as I say, around 16. Earnings per share 5.52. So at a price of 16, that means that you're paying 3 times the earnings, which is very, very cheap. Cheap because it's you have a quick return on your investments in that sense. Looking from a technical perspective, you can really see that the company is getting out of the negative territory. You see that the negative trend is broken since mid of June. So we are flat. We're actually going up slightly already again a little bit. So it's an interesting moment to look at this company. I think specifically if you wanna pre-select maybe on the recovery of the lithium prices, but also you think that this is a temporary thing, AMG could be interesting to look at. One of the sector partners in this lithium industry is Albemarte. Albemarte is very well known for lubricants for aircraft engines, but also in the 1970s with Apollo 13, they had a key role in when was an explosion in the spacecraft, and those people there are 200,000 kilometers from the Earth. They were suffering from a lack of oxygen, so they moved them to another compartment in the spaceship, and then Albemarte had an idea, had a thought, and they basically helped the NASA to keep those people safe and bring them back to the Earth by using lithium hydroxide solutions. I know exactly, but have a look at it. It's quite interesting. In COVID, Albemarte played an important role in building the emergency escape breathing devices, so the machines that people needed to be to keep breathing at that moment. And in 2019, they made a big shift towards the mining of lithium, and that's what they're still focusing on, mainly on battery and storing of electrical energy. Looking at the price, so from the stock, of course, here also price gone down quite drastically from $160 to $100 at the moment. Here also the earnings per share, 22.25 per share. The price of 100 means that you're paying 5 times the earnings. So also from a fundamental perspective, a pretty cheap stock. Of course, you need to look at the outlook, and you see that for this year, I think mainly due to the lower lithium prices, they expect that the earnings per share will drop. But from next year onwards, and even if you look in the outcast for 2028, they expect an average earnings per share of around $30. So that means if they do that, at the current stock price, you're paying 3 times the earnings. So it's also here, from a fundamental perspective, interesting to look at Albemarte. Looking at the technical image, same as with AMG, you see that the stock price was at the lowest point about 98. That was about 4 weeks ago, and you see also here that it's flattening out, and the MACD, so that basically gives you an indication what is happening with the trend, shows that there's a little cross. So there's a slight uptrend developing here. So AMG and Albemarte both suffered a lot from the lithium prices. BASF, as the largest chemical company in the world, more stable, high dividend. So I think it's interesting if you're looking for a chemical basket, you can maybe look at those 3 stocks, or you can look at maybe buying an ETF on this. So we can have a look and maybe put in the notes if there's an ETF specifically in this chemical sector. But these 3 stocks will give you exposure to that specific market. No?
Yes.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Give us your thumb, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time.